Hi there, this is Kaman and welcome to my channel. In the last video, I talked about why is it so difficult to speak English, and I talked about the difference between active and passive vocabulary. You can check that video. And in this video, I'm gonna talk about how to activate your passive vocabulary or how you can enhance your active vocabulary. The tips I'm gonna give you in this video is not just for English, is for every language you are learning. So if you're a language learner, I suggest you to stay tuned and watch this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. There are 8 ways to rapidly increase your active vocabulary in a foreign language, and of course I'm speaking about English. There's tons of research and discussion about how to expand your vocabulary in a foreign language. There are two different kinds of vocabularies, active ones and passive ones. An active vocabulary is what you need to grow to be able to communicate, since it's the words you can actively recall during real life situations. Tip number 1. Describe words you don't know instead of looking them up. Answer this question. What do you do when you've forgotten the words you need to express your thoughts in English? You're a non-native English speaker. Yes, you clutch at a straw, also known as dictionaries. You go for dictionaries and you check the words. And tell me this, what do you do when you're forgetting a word in your native language or mother tongue? You'll describe its meaning or use a synonym, so don't stop to open up a dictionary. So you can do this in your target language. If you're learning English, so you can do this while speaking English instead of running for the dictionary every time you're missing a word. And by this, your brain will get more adept at searching for the vocabulary you need. And in the worst cases, you'll just get better at describing things and maintaining the flow of the conversation. Tip number 2. Identify gaps in your vocabulary by reviewing your conversations. You've likely already adopted plague words to fill the gaps when you struggle to verbalize your thoughts. For example, let's take plague words such as very and really. Instead of learning more specific synonyms, we attach these to other words. We can say very big instead of huge, or enormous, or gigantic, and very is the plague word here. Now think of which plague words you might be learning on too much in your English. Then try to stop using your favorite plague word and try to use the replacements or synonyms for that plague word. Tip number 3. Practice using new words in real life situations. One of the most common pieces of advice for language learners is write new words in a notebook or on flashcards. But even if you go about doing this, the problem is words are difficult to remember without context. Instead of reviewing or writing a list of isolated words and phrases, practice your words in context. You can do this in a language learning app, or another way to do this is to write, and write some more. Writing short stories and messages of all kinds can help you to do this. Choose your favorite topics and platforms, write on social media, keep a diary, jot your thoughts down in a Word file or whatever. The trick is to insert as many words there are as possible, as often as possible. Bring in synonyms, different connotations, new grammar structures, and various writing styles. Revisit and reread your writings from time to time to avoid repetitions. Some of us are too lazy to write every day, or we don't like writing and consider it a dull pastime to practice regularly. If you're amongst these non-writers and procrastinators, provide yourself with positive reinforcement to stay motivated. Take part in a competition, accept a writing challenge, or make a bet with your language teacher or friends. And at the end, reward yourself for achievements. You can buy yourself a donut after you've successfully written something every day for 1 week. Tip number 4. Read often. You know that reading helps you to expand vocabulary. It forces you to look at words you might not have heard or seen before, making you search for meanings to understand the content. More than that, reading improves memory and concentration, which is essential for language learners. Number 5. Use a language learning resource. Language learning resources like textbooks and online courses are excellent for building your active vocabulary because they usually test you after learning new words. Most resources include learning drills, exercises, quizzes, and more. These tools require you to actively recall the material you just studied, which moves them to your active vocabulary. Resources typically teach you vocabulary in themes, which helps you learn the words in context. You can then use authentic immersion type resources like podcasts, books, movies, and videos to solidify the words you've learned from your main resource. Tip number 6. Focus on language output activities. You use your active vocabulary during output activities, anytime you use and produce the language. The two main output skills are speaking and writing. The opposite of language output is input, which refers to listening and reading. This is where your passive vocabulary tends to take over. So, to strengthen your active vocabulary, you have to strengthen your language output skills. A few ways you can do this are getting a language partner, hiring an online tutor, having regular conversations with native speakers through text or phone call, journaling, translating songs, your thoughts, messages, and etc. into your target language, which is English, recording yourself speaking and sending audio messages in your target language. Tip number 7. Journal your thoughts consistently. Journaling is one of the most effective output strategies that doesn't involve speaking. Find an empty notebook and journal in it as you would do it in your native language. Of course, you won't immediately have the vocabulary to say everything you want, and you'll probably feel frustrated at first, but the more you write, the quicker the words in your active vocabulary will come to you. Plus, you'll start using words in your passive vocabulary when you're trying to grasp for the right way to write down your thoughts. As a result, those passive words become active. If you can't find the word you want to use and there is no way around it, look it up and then study it like any other new vocabulary word. Tip number 8 and the last tip. Record yourself speaking about specific topics. Whether you have a conversation partner or not, recording yourself speaking is an effective way to supercharge your language output skills and get comfortable expressing yourself without fear of failure. Next, set a timer for 5 to 15 minutes, depending on your availability and language level, and record yourself speaking the topic until it goes off. Like when journaling, write down any words you wanted to use but didn't know. Then look them up and learn them after. The more you do this drill, the easier speaking will become and you'll start thinking in the language faster. Increasing your active vocabulary doesn't have to be complicated. The first step is being aware of how it works. Once you've applied the 8 tricks I told you, you'll be well on your way to boosting your active vocabulary every day. If you like this video and it helps you, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video.